quorum. In fact, all of our board members are here this morning. So we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Cash,
Raise the flag. Please repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry. Yep. Okay, the media. Emily is here from the Globe, and of course our stalwart people upstairs are also doing that. We have the approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve. Are we here?
Yeah, request to speak.
Okay, Maxine?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Okay, do I have a second? I see Janie's pushed her button.
I second.
All right, now we have the minutes of the July 11th, 2017 open session. And it was put at your desk. Everybody should have it, and it was an extra handout over there if you didn't get it. Everybody had it at their place, so it's item 5A. I'm looking for a motion. Maxine?
I move that we accept the minutes for July 11th as written.
Okay, do I have a second?
I don't have a,
Request to speak.
no, I don't have an access to motion at this second.
No. Request to speak. Don, you're the second.
And Madam President, we didn't vote
Okay.
on the approval of the agenda. Madam President, we didn't vote on the approval of the agenda. We just
Thank you
moved
very
right down.
much.
You're
We had a
welcome.
motion second for the approval of the agenda. Let's vote on your little screen.
For the agenda.
Yes, Maxine?
I'm trying to remember because I know GRF changed their policy. If we want to remove something from the consent calendar, do we do it when we're approving
No.
the agenda?
When we get to the consent calendar.
I thought so, thank you.
Okay.
I move that we accept.
Well,
the-
we've already moved and seconded the
Oh, okay.
agenda, so it's just vote on your screen, yes or no, please. Lock it in. Cease voting. Has everybody voted, Leslie?
Director Bassler. And Director Morrison. Okay, Director Bassler has voted.
Okay. I believe everybody's voted. There we go. It passes 10-0. Thank you, unanimous. And the minutes, again, we have a motion to accept and a second. Would you vote again now on the approval of the minutes of the July 11th, 2017 meeting?
I moved, we had a
We
motion.
we
and
have a
second.
motion there. You should have your voting screen back up.
No, not yet.
It's coming. We skipped the vote.
On a slow train.
Well, we moved forward before we voted, that's what's wrong.
Right.
Going backwards.
And you should be voting now.
Okay, you should have your vote screen now.
Pretty soon.
No.
Nobody does. All right, let's do this by hand vote. Are there any opposing? All right, unanimous.
Yes.
By unanimous consent. Okay. Report of the chair. I have a number of things that I'd like to mention to our residents this morning. First and foremost, thank you all for voting. I am so pleased that the ballot measure on the bylaws passed 3-1. And we received 2,467 votes.
That was good.
Of those, 74.1%, or 826 ballots, were yes, and 25.9%, 636 votes, were no. We had 5 blank votes, and I have to say that it was almost 40% of the residents voted, which is statistically a very good turnout. So thank you all
Yeah.
for handing in your ballots. I'd like to give special thanks to 6 people who helped us with the counting of the ballots. We have an inspector of elections, Martin Chapman, and they actually do the counting of the ballots. But as all of you who are voted know, you've got a ballot in an envelope in another envelope. So they have to be opened and taken out. The first envelope, the yellow envelope that has names on it, is put in one pile. The second envelope, which is the white envelope that has the ballot in it, is another pile, and the ballot itself is in a third pile. And we had 6 people who helped us to do that, so that then Martin and Chapman could easily count the votes on their automatic voting machine. And that was Brenda Rader, Carolyn Craig, Nancy Lannon, Pamela Grunke, Kay Anderson, and Paula Minahan. And we really appreciate their help in doing that. It saves us a lot of money rather
Yes.
than having to hire other people through Martin Chapman to do that. Secondly, or probably I should have done first, please turn off your cell phones or put them on vibrate. Everybody, we don't want to hear cell phones ringing. And lids on your cup, even if it's water, we don't want anything spilled. So please, if you get anything to drink, make sure that you have a lid on your cup to keep our wonderful boardroom clean and pretty for as long as we can. There's something going on in the village right now that I think you all need to know about. The state is doing an interim census. Normally, we only have the census in the O years, like 2010, it'll be 2020. They decided they're going to do an interim census, and we do have census takers going around, knocking on residents' doors, very often in the evening, because all of these people it's a part-time job. They have full-time jobs, and they do this in their spare time. They get a list. And so, quite frankly, they've been scaring a few of our residents when they come up and knock on their door at 7 o'clock and say, I'm here to take your census. So I wanted everybody to know that it is legit. They are allowed in the village. You do not have to answer. You do not have to participate. It is not mandatory. So if you don't want to talk to them, just say no, goodbye, and close the door. You also may get phone calls trying to set up appointments to do this. A lot of people have thought it was a scam. It's not a scam. It is legit. They are doing an interim census, but you do not have to participate if you don't want to. We hope that you will, because the demographic information that we get from that interim census is very valuable to not only the state, but to all of us. So I just want you to know that it is your choice and that the census takers are coming around. People say, how do they get in our gate? Well, anybody that has a government ID can come through our gates, whether it's a process server, whether it's law enforcement, or in case a census taker. So they do get in. But when they come around on a weekend or in the evening, it does make it difficult for some of our particularly senior residents. The business plan and the budget will be Thursday, 9:30 a.m. here in the boardroom, and this will be televised, and this will be when we will get our final draft of the budget, which we will then vote on next month. So if you're interested in budget matters, please tune in or come by. We'd love to hear your comments. We'd like to see how you feel about the budget. So this is the version 2, 3? Yeah. And while some changes can still be made, it's pretty well finalized by now, and that's why it's being televised. Okay, I think that's all I have, so I would like to ask one of our VMS directors, Mary Stone, to give us a report from VMS.
Good morning. I'd like to begin with some kudos for VMS Jobs Well Done. The recognition of excellence awards for the second quarter of 2017 were presented on July the 25th. And the team award for this period went to Guillermo Flores Jr. and Jose Luis Guzman. They are with our M&C department. And others receiving recognition for excellence were Ria Aninzo from General Services, Morris Bochter from Maintenance, May Kennedy from Financial Services, Andrew Coley from Security, and Judith Weatherspoon from the Recreation Department. We appreciate their commitment to their work in our community, and photos of these recipients will be added to the VMS recognition wall, which is just opposite the elevators when you get off on the second floor. And we got an especially nice, very, very nice thank you letter from Ellen Zucker for modifications that were done, excuse me, in her landscape area. And we thank Ellen for sending us this wonderful letter of thanks. And she wanted to thank the landscapers and also the irrigation crew for helping her in a difficult situation. And at our July 19th VMS board meeting, Ernesto Munoz presented the maintenance and construction update of major projects. He reported that the broadband antenna project was expected to be within budget by the first week in August. A preliminary 6-court pickleball plan was submitted to the city. The lawn bowling contract was ready to be awarded. Phase 2 of the El Toro Recycled Water District System Expansion Project, which includes areas around Gate 9 and Gate 5, will commence in September and is expected to be done by December 2018. And work still continues on the dry rot and wasteline programs. All in all, there's a lot going on, and focus groups are already developing a list of priorities for renovating the Performing Arts Center. The VMS board reviewed the employee referral program and voted to reduce the amount of time the referring employee would have to wait to receive their referral bonus and to add residents to the program. They also voted to allow directors to make referrals, but they are not eligible for compensation. Sorry.
Sorry. I didn't want it that way.
At the August 2nd VMS board meeting, we were blown away by Chuck Holland with his update on information systems. For those of you who tuned in to Village TV on Thursday, you got just a tiny inkling of what his department is working on. I tried to write as fast as I could, but there was no way to keep up with him. And most of the stuff his team is working on is behind the scenes. Essentially, our tech systems were totally inadequate, and bringing them up to date will be a work in progress until everything gets linked together. So workflow, management systems, budgets and billing, security, HR, and Wi-Fi access get integrated, and ultimately everything will be trackable and efficient. Residents will see upgraded Village TV, faster internet access, an award-winning website, and eventually AX Portal to make service requests and monitor their accounts. Be sure to come to the boardroom or watch the Town Hall Forum with Chuck Holland and Paul Ortiz Thursday, August the 17th, 4:30, and you'll see a little bit of what we got at our VMS board meeting. At our last meeting, the VMS board discussed the concept of providing a handyman service similar to one offered by Rossmore Walnut Creek. Members would pay an annual fee, which would allow a certain number of calls per month for a handyman to perform a variety of tasks. A survey will be conducted prior to this item being reconsidered at our VMS meeting on August the 30th. We appreciate the United board members who attend our meetings and express their concerns. Our next VMS meeting will be August the 16th. Kurt Ron will give a landscape update, and we will review the status of various items in the strategic plan. And I thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay. Item 8 on our agenda is the CEO. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have asked for questions. Andre, I see you're on my list.
Yes, during last VMS director reports, I was requesting to receive a copy of a strategic planning. I haven't received yet, between several months in a row.
Okay, sorry. We'll get it to you.
Thank you.
It was in my mailbox. Wasn't it in your mailbox?
No.
Anybody else get it? Okay. Any other questions from the board? Yes, Maxine?
Mary,
Microphone.
since we've heard it several times through the years lately, the consideration of a handyman program that would be prepaid. Microphone. Oh, sorry. Thank you for reminding me. The policy that might come about for a prepaid handyman service by the year, was the general feeling of VMS that that was a good idea?
I think generally we did think it was a good idea, and, but we're looking into it.
Okay.
To see what items need to be included as far as services go, how much we would pay, and also, we have to find staff that can do the job because
Probably would take a year to see if you stayed out of the hole on it, wouldn't it?
probably,
Yeah.
we do understand, though, that they are not losing any money up in Rossmore Walnut Creek over it, so,
Oh, very good.
yeah.
Thank you.
And it would be a good service, and we're looking forward to considering all the aspects at our meeting on August the 30th.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? All right, then we will go to item 8, the CEO report. Brad?
Thank you very much, Honorable President, members of the board, members of the community. It's always a privilege to come here and share with you some of the things we're working on. We had our Grandparents' Fun Day on Saturday, which I guess was a blowout. I think we had 600 tickets available, and it was a sellout, I believe, and so done. Which is, we've had several of those in a row now. The Everly Brothers concert was kind of a big sellout, and we're on a roll here. Maybe it's the nice weather, but people want to have a good time, and so it's been our pleasure to invite them out for a lot of fun things. Not so fun is all the paving, reconstruction, and slurry seal going on in your neighborhoods. And I do apologize. We like to do this in the very hottest time of the year so it can be dry really quick. Otherwise, it takes twice as long. So we get out there when it's hot, get it done, and then get out of your way. And so you'll see a lot of that. Right now in United, there's a number of major GRF streets that are being done, as well as a number of cul-de-sacs as well. So probably put up with us for a couple more weeks, and then we'll be out of your way on that. We have, I think, concluded most of our tree trimming in United for the year, so that won't be disrupting your neighborhood for a while, and then we'll be done with the paving work as well. A couple of other areas you might want to be aware of. Clubhouse 2 and Village Greens is getting done as well. Some of you who've gone to events there recently may have found the parking a little tricky, but we'll be out of there shortly too. The Equestrian Center, and then probably at the end of the month we'll get around to RV Lot B. And so we're hitting a lot of things this year. On the landscaping side, again, we're about done with the tree trimming. What we've seen weather-wise is usually this time of year it gets pretty hot, and so the shrubs will kind of contract into themselves to save water. This year it's been so doggone humid, they're growing like crazy, and we're really, you've probably noticed that, the shrubs are just going wild.
Yeah.
A lot of that's all the rain we had, and then all this additional humidity. They're not slowing down for the hot weather, and so we've added some weekend crews to get out there and catch us up a little bit. There's just a lot more material than we're used to seeing, so you will see those folks out there in your neighborhood on the weekends, which you're not used to seeing, quite frankly. don't go to Clubhouse 4 today or tomorrow. That is being tented for termite, and so you just can't use it right now. So we'll have that done probably beginning of next week. You'll be able to reuse that. Actually, there's quite a bit of tenting going on in the community right now. For those who would have a concern, we've added additional security wherever we're doing tenting because of the problems we had last year. I think security is on high alert for those projects, as particularly in the evening hours when folks, mostly not intended to be in our community, might slurk around and try to find things that don't belong to them. We've seen a little bit of that as of late, not with the tenting in particular, but where we've had folks who aren't supposed to be here running through carports and patios and gathering a few things. And when we've caught them, and we've caught most of them, it's been kids and grandkids of our residents, not outsiders, folks who had a pass, that were authorized in. And so we ask you all to keep very vigilant, and if something looks unusual, just call us so we can check it out. And that's the only way that we'll know. Our security officers can't be on every street and every cul-de-sac near every manor, but you can. And so if you see something that looks unusual, give us a call, let us check it out. Oftentimes it's nothing, that's fine. But sometimes it is something, and then we're there to take care of it. But I want you to know that most of the time, I mean almost every time, it's somebody who's been admitted to the community by a member who engages in some of this petty theft. And so be mindful of that as well. As Juanita mentioned, the budgets are kind of wrapping up, and we're meeting, I think GRF is tomorrow at 9:30, and then Thursday we have United. I think the United programs will be very familiar with, painting and landscaping, waistline, electric panels. There's a dry rot. I mean, it's the portfolio of stuff that we do, and maybe doing a little more than we've done historically, but it's an aggressive program. I'm very happy with the way we're approaching dry rot now, and really just replacing those bad boards and putting treated and primed wood back on and sealing it properly. We think that over the long haul, you're going to see a lot less problems with the dry rot in the community. So we're pretty happy with that. I think for GRF, the big deal for United anyway is really the gates. 1, 2, 3, 4, slated for gates. We're going to ask, hopefully we'll receive an early release so we can start those projects immediately upon adoption of the budget. There's quite a bit of design and engineering work that goes into those, and want to proceed with that and hopefully start construction around the beginning of the year. So we're very, very excited to do that. And there's also a lot of general maintenance work as well for next year's budget. Clubhouse 1 is slated for some work, and actually it's slated for more work this year as well. The PAC is sort of in the planning process, as you mentioned, and there's just a lot of deferred maintenance activities, and there's a lot of technology pieces too, with the CRM and call center, with cable and internet service. There's a TV6. We've got a whole home DVR that we want to roll out that we think you're going to find very exciting. It has over-the-top services built right into there. It attaches to your second and third TVs for a lot of really interesting and high-tech viewing in your manor. So we're pretty pumped out about getting that to you. I did want to thank our residents for responding to the survey that I sent out last week. We had about 1,400 residents respond really in a day or two about the kinds of fitness, dance programs that they'd like to see in the new fitness room we're doing at Clubhouse 5. And so a lot of good responses here. I was very happy. This is what people like here. They really like stretching and yoga, Zumba, spin or cycling. I've never heard of this one before until Heather told me what it was, bar, which is a combination of yoga, Pilates, and ballet. a fusion, if you will. So that's very, very exciting. And that's just a small sampling. I sent the results out on Friday to all the residents, so you can see. And we won't be able to deliver all of that, of course, but we're certainly going to let residents' opinions guide and inform our decisions. So I really appreciate that participation by our residents, and that's pretty common. When we've sent things out, we've got good response. I want to touch a little bit more on the handyman. It's I think it'd be a great service to offer our residents, kind of that thing. It's a little bit different for United and Third, because so many things inside the manor in United we're already responsible for. So it's likely there would be a differential pricing structure between the condos and the co-ops, with the co-ops being a little bit less. We're still evaluating that. But you think of the kinds of things you want done that aren't really covered, like, rotating your mattress, hanging a picture, moving furniture. I mean, you can go on and on. Small maintenance items, even maybe some small maintenance on alterations as well. Things like that we just don't do now. We could now provide several times a month to a resident. So we're looking at what those would be, what the pricing would be, and very excited about having that opportunity to serve in new ways. And then I did want to hit once again the town hall with Chuck. I mean, that's obviously a huge focus of what we're doing, is bringing technology, obviously, to our residents in terms of better internet and cable service, but also more efficient and better service provision through deploying technology in our processes. Historically and currently, we have a very paper-based, inefficient system that is very slow and leads to a lot of errors. And so when you say I had to call twice or three times, well, that piece of paper is probably in the back of somebody's truck heading out to maintenance. That's the kind of system we have. And so we're working to eliminate that, go all electronic, be mobile enabled in the field. So it's much more efficient. You can make a service request right from your manor. You see your maintenance or your landscape supervisor out there and just say, hey, can you enter a ticket for this? I'd like to have this done. Sure. They take care of it for you right there in the field. So those are the kind of things we want to bring to you. It's not far off. Matter of fact, some of it is being done right now. The landscape supervisors, we just deployed 27 smartphones out to our leads and supervisors out in the field. And so now when you call resident services and wonder, where's that guy that was supposed to be here between 8 and 12 and it's quarter to 12, they can find out and tell you, oh, he's going to be 10 minutes late. Please wait. And so we haven't had that kind of eyes on our workforce in the field ever. And so that's going to be a new service, just like tracking your UPS package. You can always know where that thing is at. Well, I want our residents to always know where their scheduled maintenance or landscape worker is at if they're concerned. And so those are the kinds of enhancements that we want to offer. So with that, I'd have to tell you what's going on at the Packard. Lori will get upset. But so we have a Creedence Clearwater and a Doobie Brothers thing coming up. We'll email out all this stuff to you. We have another Paul McCartney item. People love that stuff. That's really popular. Another Paul McCartney. And then, of course, we have our movies, which are getting really, really popular. People love to come to the movies and have the popcorn. And it's been a wonderful free event for village residents, and we're really happy to offer that. So with that, there's a ton more. I can go on and on. It'd really probably bore everyone, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions for Brad from the board? Maxine?
Yes, I wish to comment. You notice how often when Brad Hudson is giving his report, he's talking about this for the residents and that for the residents, and this will help the residents. We are so fortunate. He just went on and on about things that are being improved for our residents, easier for them to use, more enjoyable for them to use. And when he talked about the great attendance over at the Performing Arts Center. I think part of that is, I just recently saw that flyer that comes out, and it'll say the 3 big events this month, something like that. It's all in color. And I know people can pick that up at the clubhouses. And I think that's wonderful, because somebody looking for something fun to do right away, that's stressing there's something special that has gone into these events. So there's good advertising of our events, and I'm just very pleased.
Andre?
Thanks, Brad. You really made a really good pitch on, what we can do for the residents and
Director
helping
Torn, is your
out.
mic on?
Yeah, I thought my mic is on. Not?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. Maybe
There.
I'm not close enough. Okay. Thanks, Brad, for the good presentation, and I really appreciate your vision on what kind of service we can provide our residents and help the residents. And there's a lot of proposals and that kind of thing. One thing that really struck my heart is your 4 pillars of successes. First thing is customer service. Second thing is efficiency. Third thing is, third thing is either transparency, or the fourth thing is accountability. Basically, what I'm looking for is, we've been talking about customer relation management systems for about 2 years, trying to improve that. We know our Stella system is a dog. Really, that's the one that's dragging down our service process efficiencies. So I would like to see if we have a plan as far as how to replace Stella. When will we have this full implementation? I understand that there's a lot of visions with all these things that we can help the residents. We can get rid of papers. We can have all electronic mobile devices. I would like to see a plan as far as when we're going to reach that, maybe in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years to reach that goal, so we can really see the progress on that, and we can tell our residents that, yes, we are doing that. Indeed, we're looking at so long to take that implementation. So a strategic plan for the CRMS, Customer Relation Management Services, is something probably we can help our communication and improve that. And also, I began to notice that some of the departments are preparing us the dashboard information, which I really think that's very critical to our process here, understanding what has been improved, and we can talk to the residents, share with the resident the information, and I'm sure that's under your leadership that will be really flourish and help us out, improve the communication transparency side. So thank you very much for your contribution, and we would like to see more of your visions implemented soon. Thank you.
Well, I think and I know some of you were I think you guys had a meeting or a subcommittee meeting right when Chuck was getting ready to make his presentation, because a number of you were at the VMS meeting, and I probably didn't get to see that, but he did a little demo of our website, which is just about ready to, we're really just working on the wording of things and the stylistic grammar that we want to use to relate to our customers. But it's really quite spectacular, and I think it's an award winner. But there's a lot of things going on right now. One of the things that we found out, of course, just like everything else, is that we had to upgrade our backbone network infrastructure before we could really attach a lot of this fancy stuff to it. And so we've done most of that. And then one of the big implementations, I don't talk much about it at the mutuals, but is our human resources information system. All our time cards are paper. We print paper checks for folks. We bring their check stubs around and have them delivered. All that will be gone in a few months when we take this totally into the current century, and everything will be online. We don't issue any checks. It's all direct deposit. No check stubs. You got to go online to get them. All that kind of good stuff. Quite frankly, until just a few weeks ago, none of our jobs were even listed online. And so all our job postings and listings will be online. People can apply online digitally. That's how people apply for jobs now. No one has really a paper resume anymore. So all that's being implemented. That'll be a huge advance. And then on the CRM side, pretty expensive implementation, but the big thing is Chuck's found some pretty interesting ways to make Stellar do what we want it to do while we're trying to select an affordable and serviceable CRM for our residents. So it's not really a mobile optimized system, but we've been able to get mobile into it. It really doesn't integrate well with AX, but we've been able to get, so all the CSRs have, the customer service reps have access to financial data when people call. So instead of having to refer them to somebody else or transfer them, they can answer those questions right there. So yeah, a lot going on, a lot more need to be done, but I think you've got about a good a person in charge of that as I could think of right now, and so I'm very confident that you're going to be very happy with the results you get.
Maxine?
He answered my question.
All right. Cash?
I have a quick question for you, Brad. The Dwelling Life software kind of is very slow for some reason. Maybe it's my phone, or maybe it's a
No,
general
no, it's
problem.
not your phone.
Okay.
It is not your phone. The best way to use Dwelling Live is on a desktop. And go through our website, that's a good way to do it, and bam, it's super fast. The mobile application is a tad slow on the download sometimes not. The reason is that Dwelling Live has basically captured the world market for this sort of thing. They just have not kept up their infrastructure to the kind of demand they have on it. So they're well on notice that they've got to add some more functionality and some speed to that, because the mobile can be a little slow on the download. So I would say if you have if you don't mind waiting a couple minutes and having to download on your phone, that's fine. But I think the best way to access it, if you're at home, is through your desktop. Because it's much quicker, much easier. And usually, I find applications like that on a smartphone, mainly because of my eyesight, to be kind of, and my fingers aren't very dexterous when I hit those buttons. So I like to use a desktop if I can. But if you're on the go and you realize you have to let somebody in, then you obviously use the mobile and let it download and then get your guest in. But it is a little slow, you're right. I shared this at the GRF meeting that a desktop first if you can. If you're on the go, of course, you have to do the mobile. It's a little slower. But they've been notified that they need to beef up their bandwidth to approximate the number of customers that they have.
Thank you. Any other questions from directors? All right, we'll move on to item 9, which is our open forum. Now, there are 3 minutes per speaker, and you will see on the podium a little timer that shows you how much time you have left. And this is for members to address us regarding items that are not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, please wait and do your comments when we get to that part of the agenda. A speaker can only address the board one time during this period, and it is not an open dialogue. When everybody has finished speaking, we may have responses from different board members on the concerns that you bring up. So if you have an issue, please come forward to the lectern.
Good morning. My name is Bill Jury, and I live at 689A Avenida, Sevilla. This is my wife, Eleanor Jury. She was a teacher for 27 years in the city of Syracuse, New York, and I was a physical education teacher and science teacher and a football coach there. We came to Leisure World 25 years ago in 1992 and have been in the same manner, 689A, for all those years. For the first 11 years, I was a guard at Gate 14, and I had a lot of fun and enjoyed that. My wife enjoys getting out with people, and yesterday my granddaughter had her birthday, and we could not go to her party because of her injury. She can't go to what she likes best today, which is Mahjong. Some of the ladies might know what that is, and other people, but that's her enjoyment. And she does that twice a week, and she cannot go because she's in a lot of pain. We live in an area where my wife has gone out of the front door of her manor, and she's gone out to the right, which is grass, and gone to her car, which is parked on the street on Mallorca. I have some pictures for you here to see. This one over there. I had these, they're sitting on the floor. Excuse me for a second. My son came over to our home, and he was nice enough to make these pictures. These pictures show whatever the area is that we're talking about. It shows my wife's condition, and it shows the whole area in the back of our property and what we're talking about this morning. This is also a map of what our area looks like and so on. I'd like to pass this around so you get a better idea of where we are. Just like my wife has been doing for 25 years, she walked out the front door, took a left-hand turn, and started walking to her car. She has a back problem from spinal stenosis and is a cancer survivor. So instead of walking 4 blocks to get to a car, which is hard for her to do, she's been going out here every single day when she uses the car. She doesn't use it every day. About 1/4 of the way to the car, she fell. She fell over a rock that shouldn't have been there. It was upturned, and when she got up, she noticed that there were 3 rows of bushes and flowers that for 25 years have never been there. If one person would look at those all at one time and then pass them to the next, I think it would be much easier.
I'm sorry, sir, but you're running out of time. You've got,
Okay,
your 3 minutes is up.
my 3 minutes, so you don't want me to finish it?
We'll give you a little more time if you can finish up really quickly.
Okay. When my wife got up, she went to the car, and then she went to her mahjong game. She had pain all the time in her mahjong game, came home. We then called up a doctor, an urgent care. We went to urgent care and sat there for an hour and a half. He sent us to a place to get an x-ray. We sat there for 2 hours. They gave us an x-ray, and we went to a doctor that they told us to, which is next door. That was the wrong doctor.
Okay.
We then went to another doctor.
All right,
and he
your
told
time
us
is up again. You've used another 30 seconds.
Okay, so you don't want to hear the rest of it?
No.
then?
I'd like to hear Eleanor now.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear Eleanor. Okay, Eleanor, here.
I've been going through that area for 25 years, and all of a sudden, I looked and there are plants there, so I walked around the edge. There was no barriers there at all to tell you that anything was the matter. And I fell down and broke my foot on a stone. And the only reason that the plants were put there was because our neighbor next door is trying to sell their place. And they didn't ask, nobody asked any permission, nobody asked if anybody cared. And now I have a broken foot. And I don't know what's going to happen from now on.
All right, thank you very much. When everybody else is finished speaking, we will speak to it.
I have one more thing to say, very fast, and then I'll get out of here. We asked each person around this little area if anybody was given permission for Laguna Woods to do this. Not one person said that they gave permission except the lady that was selling her home. The 2 people joining it didn't give permission. None of the others in the back gave permission. Nobody even knew about it. I asked each person. You're welcome to go and talk to them. So if you don't give permission, you don't put a barrier up there to tell about it. The man from landscaping came to my home to talk to me, and after he talked to me, 2 hours later, the barriers were up. That was after she had hurt herself. If the barriers were there or some notice, we would have never gone through there.
All right, thank you very much.
You hit my pictures and I'll let you
Yeah.
go.
Here they are.
Nancy Lannon, 669N
Excuse me, Via Mendoza.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to put a plea in for the people who are not computer literate.
I'm sorry, can we get your name and manor number again? We were helping this gentleman.
Nancy Lannon, 669N, Via Mendoza. I want to put a plea in for the people who are not computer literate. I do, and I realize particularly internally, all this business going online is great. But sometimes there are people who do not know how to use a computer, do not have a computer. We're dying out. I do happen to have a computer, but some of us are dying out. But I still think there ought to be a little bit of access, somebody to do it the old-fashioned way, either call up and that kind of thing. I happened to put a call in at 9:30 at night to admit my grandson the next morning, and I waited and waited. Finally, it came on, and it said, you can't call back later. We can't take your call now. So I thought the call center was supposed to be good 24 hours. Is it not? But anyway, that's a question. The other thing is I want to thank you guys. I had wasps, and evidently they're making a great deal of presence known. And within 20 minutes after the call, they were out there taking care of my wasps. Another neighbor called and said the same thing. She had them within a half an hour. So you're doing a great job with the wasps. Thank you. Oh, one other thing. On this $90 thing, this is strictly a GRF imposed thing, is it not?
It is.
I was under the impression some people thought that the United was imposing an additional $90. And I say, I understand that, but I just think that ought to be made very clear that that's a GRF thing.
Thank you, Nancy.
Mike Landry, 693B. One thing I just wanted to say, I thank you. We, last Tuesday after the GRF meeting, I went home and my dear little new neighbor was upset because somebody had taken a towel out of the laundry room. So I wrote a letter to the Globe. This little towel was embroidered and it meant a lot to her. Wrote a letter to the Globe. The towel got returned. So I want to say thank you to whomever the wonderful person was who took it by mistake, but returned it and put it on my front patio. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now for a bit of levity about the census, Brad, or Juanita actually. I'm from the very deep South, and we're always very distrustful of census and revenuers. So I'd like to know, is there a place I can hide my moonshine still? Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Hello, my name is Lola Benz, and I live in 17. First of all, I would like to ask if anybody is going to put this in the newspaper that they don't use my name and my residence for my own safety, because what I'm going to tell you is going to cause some controversy. And I wanted to welcome Mr. Hudson. We're happy to have you. We know that you're highly qualified for your position, and we're happy to see all the good things you're doing for us.
Could you give us your name and manor number again?
Oh, sure. You're not going to put me in the paper, right?
No.
My name is Lola. Pardon me?
You are on television.
Oh, this is on
This
Yes.
is
Channel 6?
televised, yes.
Oh, I thought this wasn't televised. I may want to submit this in writing. Yeah, let's do this. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other member comments? If not, I will close the open forum, and I will go ask any of our directors who have responses to any of the comments. We'll start with Maxine, excuse me.
I appreciate the gentleman saying that the special towel had been returned, because we all read that letter, and you hate hearing of something like that. I just tipped my cup over and it didn't spill. How about that? The lids work. I appreciate that. You know, one time I went out to the laundry room to collect my laundry out of the dryers many years ago, And one whole load was missing. My towels, my hand towels, my washcloths were missing out of the laundry room. Now, another lady had just come in, and I said, do you know anyone who would be likely to take my laundry with her? And she said, oh, yes, the lady down on the inn there. So I went down and knocked on the door, and the woman was sorting clothes all around her living room. And she invited me in, and I told her, I think you got my towels mixed up with yours. And she immediately said, well, look for yours. And I found them, all of them, right away. And I realized she was having a memory problem. So it's good to know who else shares the laundry room and keep in touch with each other. And sometimes you can track these things down.
Thank you. Pat?
Yes, I'd like to respond to Nancy. First of all, Nancy, I don't know whether the rest of the people out there realize this, but the computer club, the PC Computer Club, have some great instructions for beginners. In fact, I was an instructor myself a few years back, and the people are just very happy that we can teach them how to use emails and how to use the internet and that kind of thing. So whatever you do, if you feel like you don't know anything about computers, go and join the PC Club. You don't even have to join it to go and use the facilities and maybe take some instructions too. And then secondly, about the third person in United, we have recently come up with a $50 additional fee for the third person, and that is for costs that we incur for the wear and tear on the appliances and everything else that are in the United units, plus things like water and that. So yes, we did impose an additional fee on the third person in a unit. Thank you very much.
All right, Maggie?
Eleanor, we hope you mend soon. Also, as far as permission goes, this is part of a landscape project, and we are replacing small areas of turf with shrub beds. We do not need permission from the residents to engage in our projects. No one asked for this project. It took 2 weeks to complete, so there was work going on outside for 2 weeks. You have other pathways. You have a carport that's down a pathway. You have Sevilla, which is around the other side, which is a complete pathway to a sidewalk. The path you chose to take this time previously was all turf, and our turf can get to be 4 inches deep. So it was never a pathway. The grass areas show no wear and tear, which are remainder, but it took 2 weeks for the project to be completed, during which time no one contacted landscaping or anyone else. So we hope you mend quickly, but I would suggest that you park on either Sevilla, where you can go sidewalk all the way, or in your carport, even though someone tells me it's far away, but that's what I would suggest. Thank you.
I might mention that Maggie is the chair of our landscape committee, and she did go out and look at the path, and she also took pictures. All right, Andre?
This question is in response to Nancy's, your call center not responding to your request. I just want to know, from all the discussions, we heard all the good stories about how responsive our VMS staff is, but occasionally we'll hear from residents complaining about not responsive. So I'd just like to see, what kind of measurement we have as far as responsiveness. And one question, big question I have is, some of the residents, when they make requests, they don't get a work order number, and as a result, it's not in the log anywhere. And is there any way we can improve that? That's should be in part of the CRM system that keep track of all the requests. And for example, I made some requests recently, and I didn't get a request number. I just get a response, so I don't know how to track it. With that work order number, we should be able to track that. So hopefully we'll get some kind of measurements soon and helping us. And also the board has been making requests, response about complaints to the board, and we still to this day we haven't received any response. What kind of response we had for those requests to us. So if we can get some information, then we can better help communicate to the residents that, yes, we are doing things, yes, we are doing, helping out. So those things, if we can get information for the residents, then we can tell them, yeah, 99% and 98% that we are quite responsive and we are making improvement from 97 to 98 this month, 98 and half next month. We will never be able to get to 100%, that's a given fact, but at least we can make the residents feel comfortable that we are doing our best. Thank you very much.
All right, Cash?
Let me first say, Eleanor, I wish you a quick and 100% recovery. I have to share with you something that at our age, falling is one of the most dangerous things. So we have to be very careful. My wife, we went to Niagara Falls, and she had a Niagara Fall, and she is hurting all over her body with broken ligaments. So you have to be careful, and I wish you early recovery. To Nancy, what I would like to say is about the call center. If you have problems with the new computer technology and all that you're talking about, you can always call me, and I will help you no matter what time. I'm generally there. Full census till like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And my number, if you want, is 949-217-1950. You can call me. Instead of having somebody to work full-time at nighttime to serve maybe a handful of people, this may be an easier way. And to Mike, you can put your moonshine in any place. If you don't have a place, bring it to me. Thank you.
All right, Brad?
Yeah, maybe I've talked about this too much. We do not have a 24/7, 365 call center yet. When you call after hours, you get security dispatch. And if they're busy with security calls, then the gate access calls just kind of roll and wait until they're not busy with security calls. That will end in the next several months as we combine our daytime call center with security dispatch, and so we will have enough resources there to handle all calls all the time. And so that's a work in progress. That's one of the reasons, not the entire reason, but one of the reasons why we were kind of moving things around this building, like the fitness center, like manor alterations, to make room for security to come into this building, and particularly the security dispatch. Yeah.
Thank you. That looks like all the questions that I have. So let's go to agenda item 11, which is the consent calendar. The consent calendar are matters that are recommended for action by the committees. Again, I repeat for everybody, most of our work is done in committees. And then the committees bring a suggestion, a resolution, a request for a motion to the board to talk about or to approve what they have done in the committees. And so in most cases, they go on the consent calendar so that we don't need to take the time on discussion because they've already done all of that in committee. We have a number of items on the consent calendar from the Architectural Control Standards Committee, the Finance Committee, and 3 motions that will not be acted on until September at our meeting, but are in the agenda package if people want to go through and look at them, and they're on 30-day review. So if you have questions about them, you can let us know before we take final action in September. Do I have anybody that wants to remove anything from the consent calendar? Maxine?
Thank you. May I move the second half of 11A That's matter number 2067C over to new business 13B.
Okay. We'll make that 13B.
Yeah.
Anything else? If not, can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? All right, Cash, do you want a second? Pat?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, commence voting.
I'm waiting on Director McIntosh and Director
I
Morrison.
didn't tap it hard enough. There we go.
Okay. And just Director Morrison.
Did you want us to?
Point of information, if I may ask, when I tap it and I'm not sure that I saw the little circle, should I go ahead and tap it a second time or wait till you correct me?
If the circle doesn't come up, then you can tap it a second time.
Okay, thank you.
And when you did it the second time, it did come up, so you're good.
Thank you.
All right, let's cease balloting, and Gary, can you give your vote orally?
Gary, are you a yay or nay?
Yes.
All right, it is unanimous. All right, we will go to item 12, which is unfinished business. These are things that were brought before the board for first reading in June. And because of the fact that we only had 29 days between June, July, and between July and August, they are up for final vote at this meeting. And the first one, 12A, I would entertain a motion to approve the revisions to the drone policy.
Make a motion.
Okay?
I did the computer.
Yes, well, I don't,
The motion on this Granicus has been
all right.
removed.
We'll do it vocally. Janie and Cash, will you second it?
I'll second.
I gave you it, made the motion. All right, is there any discussion on 12A, which is a motion to approve the revisions of the drone policy? Hearing none, please commence voting.
Director Bassler. I didn't get your vote. I did receive it. Thank you.
All right, it's unanimously approved. 12B, I would entertain a motion to approve revisions to the qualifiers for subleasing manners regarding short-term rentals. And for all of you out there, that means the revision just adds to the qualification that says you can only do short-term rentals for no less than 90 days or more than 1 year. And we added to that the fact that you could not advertise on any of the websites, Airbnb, Vacation Owner by Rental, Craigslist, or anything, any kind of a short-term rental that is less than that 90 days. So do I have a motion to approve this revision? Okay, Janie. And a second?
I'll second.
All right, Carrie. All right, discussion? Andre?
Just a question about procedure. Are we supposed to read the resolution instead of just explain to them? So usually we
Well-
read the resolution.
We can certainly do that.
Yeah.
So that's 12B. Madam Secretary, if you would read the resolution.
Whereas the governing documents of United Laguna Woods Mutual require and contemplate owner occupancy, United's bylaws and occupancy agreement require members and no others to reside in their manors, also referred to as dwelling units or units, in certain of United's governing documents, unless otherwise approved by the board, bylaws, Article 3, occupancy agreement, Article 5 and 7. Specifically, members are prohibited from subletting a manor without the prior written consent of United. Occupancy Agreement, Article 7. And whereas under United's governing documents, which include without limitation the bylaws, occupancy agreement, operating rules, and board resolutions, United members may sublease their manors subject to certain sublease qualifiers. And whereas Resolution 01-1350 contains 15 sublease qualifiers, which are intended to, among other things, help maintain and promote the unique age-restricted and stock cooperative nature of United's community, collectively the qualifiers and each a qualifier. And whereas it is the policy and procedure of the board to approve sublease applications, so long as members meet the qualifiers attached to Resolution 01-1350 as Exhibit A, and whereas, among other qualifiers, Resolution 01-1350 provides subleases may be no shorter in duration than 90 days and no longer than 12 months. And whereas the board has experienced a recent increase in sublease applications, many of the applications have been submitted by investors, individuals who have expressed no intent to occupy their manor. Frequently, within days after the close of escrow, some new members submitted a request to sublet their manor and have continuously sublet. In some circumstances, the new members have never resided in the community, and whereas pursuant to its governing documents, the Board of Directors has the power and authority to adopt reasonable operating rules, and whereas rules and regulations are generally considered reasonable if they are rationally related to the protection, preservation, and proper operation of the property and the purposes of the corporation as set forth in its governing instruments and are fair and undiscriminatory. Friars Village Homeowners Association versus Hansig 2013, 220 Calab 4th, 405. And now therefore be it resolved, August 8, 2017, that the Board of Directors hereby amends qualifier 2 for subleasing manors, violations of which are subject to the schedule of monetary penalties. No manor may be advertised for sublease shorter in duration than 90 days in any print media, such as newspapers, magazines, local bulletin boards, etc., and/or on any website, including without limitation Airbnb, VRBO, social media, listing service, and/or any other hosting platform. Resolved further that the officers and agents of the corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
Thank you, Maggie. Pat, you had a discussion item?
Yes, I would just like to get a little clarification here on the 1, 2, 3, 4, on the 5th whereas. It says duration no shorter than 90 days and no longer than 12 months. I guess I have a misunderstanding. I thought that it could be renewed after 12 months. Is
You're
that
correct. It has
Okay.
to be 12 months, and they have to reapply And then it can be, it's, if you will, a renewal, but it's not an automatic renewal.
Right.
And there can be no 3, 4, 5-year leases. They have to renew it every year for
So
12
they
months.
can renew it every 12 months?
Right.
Thank you very much.
Cash?
I'm kind of wondering if subletting, leasing a portion of the home should be covered in this, like one bedroom from a two-bedroom home.
That's already covered in other operating rules. You cannot sublease any portion, any room.
It is covered.
It must be, sublease is the whole unit, and no other, we do not allow room rentals, period. All right, let's see. Mary?
Mary Stone, 356C. If you look at your agenda item 14A, page 9 of 9, you will see the monthly leasing report for United. And in that report, the last column of the leases in effect, it says 12-plus months. And it shows for the month of July, 14 leases, more than 1 year.
Those are ones that have been renewed.
They've been renewed?
Mm-hmm.
How can they be 12?
Renewed for another 12 months. They're just 12 months at a time.
Just 12 months at a time, so these are, well, I think what you need to do is have the title of that particular column changed to whatever it is.
All right, we'll,
Because when you say 12-plus months, it infers that these people, you know, are leasing for a longer period of time than your resolution allows.
okay, thank you. Maxine?
Yes, I just want to say, for all the people that are listening to our board meeting today, this is wonderful for United. A lot of us have had so many people stop us wherever we are and complain about the abuse of these vacation-type rentals. And we're taking care of it here. We're going to make it easier to keep track, less likely that there's all the disruptions that some people have had continuously with 1 or 2 manors in their building. A couple of women talked to me about in their building, two manors where the turnover was fast, and everybody that came in brought children and left with children, then the next ones came in with children and left with children. And it was just upsetting. And so this is something really responsible that we're doing for United.
I might also let everybody know that these websites are monitored. We had 5 people in disciplinary hearings this month who had advertised on Airbnb, and we had the copy of what they had advertised and the remarks from people who had stayed there for a weekend, for a week. And we know about it. We are now actively complying with this, and you cannot do this, and that's why we're adding this part to the qualifier number 2. Any other comments? All right, I'll call for the vote. Wait, it's not in pink. This is the 12C.
Okay, do you want me to read it?
There we go. All right, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, 12C, entertain a motion to approve amendment to the shareholder financial qualifications requirement, and this has satisfied the 30-day notification. And Madam Secretary, if you would read that, please.
Resolution 0117XX, United Laguna Woods Mutual Financial Qualifications. Whereas it is in the best interest of the corporation to protect and preserve the financial integrity of this corporation. Whereas the current financial qualifications policy establishes a minimum annual income requirement of $36,000 or a minimum annual income requirement of $24,000 when a guarantor is obtained. Whereas to accomplish this, removing the following provision is necessary. Quote, The board may consider waiving financial requirements if the applicant obtains secondary financing from a financial institution of at least 50% and no more than 70% of the purchase price. It is recommended that an applicant who does not meet the minimum financial requirement consider submitting the application with a financial guarantor, unquote. And whereas no minimum income or asset requirements were ever established for prospective shareholders who requested such a waiver, more importantly, United has not granted this waiver since about 2007, and whereas the financial qualification policy would be improved by removing the secondary financing waiver provision, prospective borrowers will continue to obtain loans, but the shareholder must meet the minimum income and asset requirements with or without a guarantor. And now therefore be it resolved on August 8, 2017, that the minimum financial requirements are revised, effective for any escrow opened on or after August 8, 2017, and resolve further that Resolution 01-1589, adopted July 14, 2015, is hereby amended as indicated above, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I so move.
Okay. Do I have a second? All right, it's been moved by Maggie and seconded by Gary. Is there any discussion? Cash?
I was wondering, that number 70% in the third whereas, most loans are 80%. Well, sorry about that. Most loans are 80% of the purchase price.
No, that's why we're
Instead of
disallowing it.
70. So you don't want to do,
No. And what we're saying is just because you have a loan and have qualified for a loan, that does not mean that you meet the financial qualifications to live in the village, because that loan covers only the price of your share, and it just has nothing to do with your ability to live, to buy food, to pay any kind of bills and that kind of thing. So the income requirements are very important, and those are not taken into account with their. That's why it hasn't been used for the last 10 years.
thank you.
All right, let's commence voting. All right, it passes 8 yes and 1 abstention. One no. So that's only 9 votes. Somebody didn't vote.
Director McIntosh exited the room.
Oh, that's right. That's okay. Thank you. The motion passes. All right, 12D, discuss and consider the methods to replenish the contingency fund. Right. Pat?
Yes, I would like to withdraw this. I would like to withdraw this discussion from this. I should have removed it when we went through approving the agenda, because you will hear when I talk later on in the Finance Committee financial report that the contingency fund has adequate funds in it, even though we have not replenished it.
Okay. Is there any objection by any director to removing this 12D?
Okay.
All right, without objection. All right, we're on item 13, which is new business. And the first one, 13A, entertain a motion to approve implementing fees for missed maintenance appointments. Now, this must postpone to September to conform to the 30-day notification, but this is the first reading. Madam Secretary?
Resolution 0117XXX, whereas the board adopted to establish a chargeable maintenance service policy by way of Resolution 010428 and amended it on June 12, 2007 to remove single fixture stoppages as a chargeable service. And whereas the missed maintenance appointments use up valuable staff time and delay scheduled repairs, and now therefore be it resolved September 12, 2017, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby establishes a charge of $50 for a missed maintenance appointment fee charged to residents who are a no-show during their scheduled appointment time frame or do not cancel or reschedule 24 hours prior to their scheduled appointment, and resolve further Resolution 010428, adopted February 10, 2004, to establish the board's chargeable maintenance services policy, is hereby amended to add a missed maintenance appointment fee, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I so move.
Is there a second? All right, Don? Is there any discussion on this, Andre?
I think I know the answer already, but I just want to make it clear to all the residents that what about the emergency situation? Somebody gets sick or got into accident and cannot make the 24-hour deadline. Is there any alternative for them to?
There's always an appeal.
Okay, so they can
Anything
appeal.
that happens,
If
they
there's a
can appeal.
justifiable emergency and they can appeal and
They can
it
appeal,
will be
but-
considered. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Cash?
I was wondering if we have to, microphone. Oh, Mike. I'm kind of wondering if we have to differentiate between people who have modified or altered their units for the major standard appliances in the 13A, page 3 of 6. We don't make a mention that those appliances are not mutual responsibility. Those are new.
Well, that's true, but they wouldn't be called out. And they would, if they called it into the call center, they would say that's an alteration, and they would not make an appointment to send somebody out.
Okay, but people know that, they will,
We keep trying to let people know if it's an alteration, it's your responsibility. And certainly the call center, if they call in and they look on Stellar and see that it's an alteration, would let them know, and they would not make an appointment in the first place.
okay.
All right, let's commence voting. Thirteen A. The missed maintenance appointment fee. All right, it's approved unanimously. All right, we added 13B from the consent calendar, and this is 11A from the consent calendar, variance request for 2067C. Would you read the variance, Maggie? It's 11A, page 6 of 6.
Resolved August 8, 2017, that the variance request of Ms. Phyllis Posner Gilbert of 2067C via Mariposa East for a non-standard entry door color is hereby approved, And resolve further that all costs and maintenance of the alteration, present and future, are the responsibility of the mutual member at 2067C. Further, resolve further, a required mutual consent for a manor alteration permit application must be submitted to Manor Alterations Division Office located in the Laguna Woods Community Center. Resolve further, prior to the issuance of a mutual consent for manor alteration permit, a neighbor awareness form must be obtained from the affected neighbors at 2068B. No work may proceed prior to receiving this executed form, and approval by the Manor Alterations Department and the City of Laguna Woods. Resolved further, under no circumstances is construction waste allowed to be dumped in the village trash bins. Construction waste must be disposed off-site by the contractor.
City doesn't have to.
Violation of this condition may result in disciplinary action. Resolved further, the mutual consent for a manor alteration permit expires within 6 months of the date of the mutual board's approval. Resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
Before you move it, I'd like to make one change.
Okay.
In the 4th paragraph, the City of Laguna Woods does not need to approve the door entry color. That's just through our alterations department. It does not require a city permit.
Okay, so we put a period after department
Right.
and delete the
And
last
delete,
few
right.
words. Right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Do I have a second to Maggie's motion? Can I get a second, and then we'll go to discussion? All right, Pat? All right, Maxine?
Yes, you know, the resolution doesn't indicate the reason this request was made and granted. And I understand we still have a paint policy that allows 3 or 4 choices of a door color instead of having to take one that goes, that the committee determines is the best one for the color of your building. So with those choices, I'm wondering why a non-standard color would be approved.
I can answer
Yes,
that.
Janie, please.
The Architecture Control and Standard Committee went ahead and we looked over this suggestion of one of our members, and we went ahead and approved it, and they come to us if they do want to change the colors that are not standard, and that's what we do. We approve alterations that are not standard. And so we had an anonymous approval of this particular request.
Unanimous. Not anonymous.
I'm sorry, my dyslexia.
We all knew what you meant.
My dyslexia. You embarrassed me.
Okay, so you aren't just sticking to the standard, you are considering the variances that people request.
That's our job.
If it was a standard, they wouldn't go to variance.
Yeah. Okay.
So they approved a variance. All right, I had the motion by Maggie when she read it. Is there a second? Oh, I thought that was the one before. But I'll put you down again, Pat. All right?
second the original motion to approve it.
Yeah, but you seconded the motion for the missed maintenance appointment fees is what I had down. So this is another one. You now seconded this one.
Right.
All right. Can we, let's see. Maxine, you talked. Andre?
I think the first question is, since the secretary has already read the resolution, so any change after that should be amendment. Okay, that's my suggestion.
No, it can be a Scribner's error.
Second question is, this is a variance request. why isn't it, what's the reason that it's not in the consent calendar, and why is it? put
It
this-
was, we moved it on the
Yeah.
consent calendar.
Why is it removed? Sorry, I missed it.
Because Maxine asked that it be removed. Any director can move an item from the consent calendar.
Yeah, but I just wonder why. So.
Oh,
you
to
know,
get
in the future-
clarity.
Yeah. Why is that, may I ask?
She just asked and was
Yeah.
answered.
Maxine, I just want to answer that. When a committee approves a request, the clarity is there. You know, we've gone through the whole routine of which, why, and where, and we worked time on that, and we felt unanimously to approve this particular item, just like others within our committee.
Oh, I didn't mean you hadn't given me clarity. You did the first time you answered me. You gave me clarity. Thank you.
Okay. Janie, did you have something else? No, okay, well, let's commence, oh, I'm sorry, Mary?
Mary Stone, 356C. My neighbor has the standard door from the previous color palette, and when our building was recently painted, my door was painted the new color palette, and I live in a Seville, and these doors are side by side. So she has a red door because hers is a custom door with panels that was painted red in accordance with the previous color palette, and mine is white. It looks disastrous. So I'm asking, why is this color, non-standard entry color, being approved? What is the color, and what is the reason, what is the rationale behind it?
Okay, Janie?
We had a good neighbor awareness approval, and it wasn't door to door, next door. It was separate. It was not right next door. And the color was the color probably of your next door neighbor. It's kind of a red, yes.
Red is one of our optional colors.
I would recommend, Mary, you just come to our committee.
I will.
Thank you.
It depends. The house is up for sale. If it sells and they change the color, I won't have to do that. But right now, it really is bad.
We'll see you in our committee.
All right, I don't see any more requests to speak, so can we commence voting, please, on approving this item from the consent calendar?
Yeah,
Approving
my
the committee's
computer went off.
Oh, I'm sorry, Don?
Just tap it a couple times.
Tap it. Shh, I've done that right.
It just went to sleep.
Don't kill it.
It takes a little while.
Gentle hand didn't help,
It takes a little while once you tap it.
does it?
It's kind of like kids when they go to
Here, Steve will come to the rescue.
Oh, you're off the legislate altogether.
Oh, turn your mic off.
While we're waiting to fix Don's computer, can we commence voting for those of you whose computers are working?
What's your, this should be the last vote for the most part. I don't have the log on for him. Chuck took that, but do you vote yay, nay, abstain? Oral vote? Okay.
All right.
No.
Thank you.
Your name. All right, we had 9 yes and 1 no, so the motion passes. Okay, now we go to item 14, which is committee reports. And we will start with the report of the Finance Committee. Pat?
Okay. Would you please put slide 1 up? I'm just waiting for the television to put slide 1 up for me. There we go. Total revenue for United through June 30th, 2017 was $19,728,000. compared to expenses of $17,688,000. This resulted in greater revenue than expenses by $2,040,000. Slide 2, please. With a favorable bottom line of $2,040,000 compared to a planned deficit of $238,000 through June, United Mutual was better than budget by $2,278,000, primarily due to the timing of the reserve programs. The waistline replacements program work started late May. The building structures, there were fewer replacements, and the roof replacements where the work started in late May. The favorable variance in these programs was partially offset by an unfavorable variance in compensation and related expenses. Resolution 11725 approved unbudgeted expenses of $350,000 in the landscape division to complete the tree trimming cycle in 2017. Slide 3, please. This pie chart shows the non-assessment revenues received to date of $708,000 by category, starting with our largest revenue-generating category, fees and charges for services, followed by interest income, laundry revenue, and resale processing fees. Slide 4, please. This pie chart shows expenses to date near $17.7 million, showing that our largest category of expenses are for compensation and property taxes, followed by utilities and outside services. Slide 5, please. The reserve balances on June the 30th, 2017 were just over $22.3 million. Year-to-date contributions and interest for reserves were $6,121,000. Year-to-date expenditures, $4,210,000. Okay. Then I'd like to go on to our sales. Just a minute, let me just find them, and we will go on to our sales. Okay, the monthly resale report shows that the average resale price through July of 2017 was $249,677. This compares to the average resale in July of 2016, which was $220,192. This is up 13.4%. Then I'd like to go on to our monthly leases. Our average monthly lease, 503 out of 6,323, represents 8% rentals. We have had 8% plus or minus 0.5% for at least 6 or 10 months now. Then I'd like to go on to talk a little bit about our contingency fund and our reserve fund. The contingency fund is generally used for the repair or replacement of mutual assets damaged by uninsured or unexpected disasters, in addition to providing for unanticipated or unexpected disasters not otherwise identified in the business plan. Our expenditures from this fund, not including SOLA, has been running approximately $1.5 million per year. We've been contributing $19 per man per month, or $1,441,664 per year, plus approximately $55,000 in interest received. And our balance at the end of 2017 is expected to be approximately $3.6 million if we leave it as it is. Our reserve fund at the end of 2017 is expected to be $16,466,575. Our reserve expenditures for 2018 are budgeted to be $12,032,820, and our contributions based on $138 per man per month is $10,470,888, plus interest of approximately $219,599. Assuming these figures are relatively accurate, the balance of the reserve fund at the end of 2018 should be approximately $15,124,242. I would like to make a motion. I move that we reduce the contribution to the contingency fund by $5 per man per month and increase the contribution to the reserve fund by $5 per man per month. This will not affect the fees at all. This will not affect our assessments, but it will have the effect of increasing our reserve fund contributions by approximately $370,000 and reducing the contingency fund by approximately the same. We will use this additional reserve fund for epoxy waistline remediation and/or electrical upgrades and perform the additional work with outside vendors. That's my motion. Do I have a second?
That's out of order. I'm sorry. We are giving reports from the committees. If this was, this should have been brought up in the Finance Committee and the motion brought forward from the Finance Committee. When giving your report, you can't make a motion.
It needs to be brought up today because the VMS are busy getting their figures all corrected by the 10th, and if we don't bring it up today, we won't be able to bring it up.
Madam Treasurer, you can't spring it on the board at the last minute and not have any committee discussion, anything that the rest of us would know about.
We had the secretary bring something up like that at the last meeting.
Yes, Maggie?
I believe if you get a 2/3 approval of the board to hear the issue, then we may add it to the agenda. I believe that's, no?
I would have thought this would have been 12D instead of your having removed it. Then we could have done a motion.
12D is, there's no need to repay the contingency fund because we have adequate funds in the contingency fund.
Right, but your motion talked about moving things from one fund to another.
Right, that's all it's doing. It's not affecting anything else at all.
All right, I don't believe Davis Sterling allows us to make motions when from a report from the committee that has not gone through the committee.
Well, we can do it at the budget meeting.
Yes, we can do it at the budget meeting.
So are you suggesting we should leave it for the budget meeting
Yes,
then?
ma'am.
Okay, we'll leave it to the budget meeting if that's all right with everybody.
On Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, is that all you had?
That's all I have to say.
All right.
Thank you.
14B, the report from the architectural. Oh, I'm sorry, Andre.
I would suggest that this issue bring up to the, maybe a special finance committee meeting, set up special one.
Don't need it.
I understand it, either today or tomorrow or any time before that meeting. So when we propose to the budget meeting, we will have the full support of finance committee. That way we'll give some weight to this recommendation. Just my suggestion.
And then you can have a special board meeting too with the appropriate notice.
But the meeting for the budget, the final budget, is August
Thursday.
10th, a couple of days. We do not have time to do that.
So my suggestion is that you bring it up at the budget meeting on Thursday.
Fair enough.
All right, Janie, the report from the Architectural Control and Standards Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. The Architectural Control and Standard Committee has decided to change our agenda somewhat with the discussion and consideration of alterations approval at the top of our agenda. By doing this, we're able to go ahead and discuss the approval or disapproval of requests and then excuse our members so they don't have to sit through our whole meeting. And then if we find that it's necessary, depending on the alteration requests, we will go ahead and then take the tour. Our last meeting, we found that we did not have a necessity to go out on tour, and we took care of their requests there at the meeting. After that, we had more time then to discuss committee business, and one of them, which we did, was we are updating the guidelines for the altering or remodeling of your manor, and it's a booklet, and it's been a booklet that our M&C committee did work on a few years ago, and we are updating that for our members to make it a little bit more easy when you have questions about your alterations. So I just want to let you know that we do work on different things outside of just approving alterations. So our next meeting is August the 22nd at 9 a.m. in the Community Center Cypress Room, and that ends my report.
Thank you. Don, may we have the report of the Maintenance Construction Committee?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank the board for passing the resolution regarding the maintenance men going to a manor and no one there. The people who go out there, the workmen, they have to wait, I think it's 30 minutes, and it's usually one, maybe two men and a pickup truck, and that costs all of us, and it adds up, so thank you for that. The slurry and paving work, as Brad mentioned earlier, is going well. So far, there have not been any problems. There's a lot of cars on the main roads out of the cul-de-sacs, but the residents have been pretty cooperative, and it's working out well. And that's it.
Thank you. Your next meeting?
Oh, I forget, in 2 months.
All right, since during.
Wait, let me interrupt on that. Ernesto has called for a meeting on the 21st, Steve, that I asked you about?
We have a regular meeting scheduled for September.
Okay, we have a meeting in August, that you're gonna, I will be out of town.
Oh, is it August? Okay, you're out of town.
And you're gonna
I'm
take
gonna
my
chair.
place. And that's gonna be, and the president has to be there. It's really going to be a good meeting. And we will bring you up to date after that meeting is over. And that's the end of my report.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is that for all of the M&C committee or just certain?
No, just the chairman and the president.
Oh, that's a special meeting that's being called of the president and the head of M&C from the mutuals and GRF to discuss.
A lot of items.
Yeah, but particularly a plan going forward for possible different electrification of the community, specifically for the residences, under an aggregated program. But that meeting is scheduled for, it's coming up here in a couple of days. Third Energy originally had invited someone in to discuss community aggregation of
Right, but
electricity.
they set it against one of our meetings, so most of us could not go.
Right, so the recommendation that was made and accepted was to set another meeting for the mutual presidents and the head of M&C to be able to attend and have a common discussion on what might be possible going
No
forward.
decisions will be made at
No.
that meeting. We're gathering information, and we will bring it back to the board and to our residents afterwards. All right, Maggie, a report from the Landscape Committee?
Okay, we had no meeting this month. We have it tomorrow. We are going to be considering tomorrow the cul-de-sac 205 seating and pathway arrangement, which was by a resident request. But as we completed the survey of the neighbors, some neighbors felt that it might be too noisy or too much intrusion on their privacy. So for now, that is on hold and unlikely to move forward unless all the neighbors can agree. So that will be that. We have a new supervisor who has been hired to replace a 20-year experienced supervisor. The new one is in training and will be 3 or 4 months. He'll be ready to assume all responsibilities. Tomorrow, we will also be considering a red stake program. This is a red stake program for limiting herbicides applied near manor walls, windows, and doors. Persons who wish to maintain their shrub beds and/or planting areas immediately next to their manor walls without the use of herbicides such as Roundup may discuss it with the supervisor and may obtain red stakes for marking the area. This is under consideration. This is what we will be talking about. If the area is marked by red stakes, then the resident will be responsible for the weeding. That's what we think so far. If an area with red stakes is not kept weeded, the red stakes will be removed, weeding performed as a chargeable service, and then normal herbicide and weeding procedures resumed. That is the kind of a policy that we would have. Full responsibility for yellow staked areas involves complete care of the plants and area, including watering, fertilizing, care of the plantings, and removal of litter and debris, empty pots, planting materials, and clutter. Roses, fruit trees, and bedding plants are classified as non-standard and must be cared for by the resident, but do not require a yellow stake. The groundsmen know automatically they are yours. If a resident does not maintain their yellow stake or non-standard planting area, the landscape division may, after notice to the resident, remove the plantings and replace them with standard plantings at the resident's expense. If the area is cluttered, compliance may be noticed. But if you want a red stake, you won't have to maintain the whole area. You just have to be sure to weed it, because if we let the weeds grow up next to your manor, they'll all blow and seed, and everyone else will have them too. So the red stake is a good possibility. We'll work out the fine points on such policy and hopefully decide on it tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. 14F, report of the traffic hearings. Don?
Sorry, I have a question on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Andre.
Is there any consideration about the red stake and, is there any consideration that once the unit is sold, and if the information is not passed on to the next resident, will there be any, resolution for the next person, next to the owner? What is he going to do if he doesn't realize that?
The red stakes will probably be removed upon sale, I would assume, unless the person requests that they remain. That is so with the yellow stakes also. If they want them removed and they want standard landscaping put back in, that goes to, that's a chargeable service charged in the sale of the unit or the sale of the share. And so it takes, at the time of the transfer, this happens and they are notified. So
Okay.
this would be also a notification, but I'm not sure. We'd have to discuss whether this goes like the yellow stakes go. With notification, I think it would have to be. So we'll have to see. It
Yes, I
depends
just-
on if they're willing
Listed
to
as an
take over the care.
Yes, I
It's
just want to
listed
clarify
as a
that.
landscape alteration
Right.
on your escrow.
Right.
Okay.
All right, John?
Okay, we had a large number of residents who attended, and staff tried to reduce the number of minutes per hearing, and for some reason, we had people waiting for over an hour sitting there, so we're going back to our old procedure. The number one offense, again, is not stopping at a stop sign, followed closely by speeding. And then we had a large, well, not a large, but many people driving with expired registrations. And then there were a lot of citations for some reason in the RV parking facility for leaving your blocks or other items there when you leave. When you leave, you have to move everything from that area. Many residents also are driving with an expired driver's license. And those are reported to DMV, and you will hear from them if you're one of them, that if you have no driver's license, you have no insurance. And for some reason, the residents who have been stopped thought it was all right to drive in the village without a license, but it isn't. It's for your own safety, so if you don't have a license, don't drive, please. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. 14F for report from the Communications Committee. Maggie?
Every month, we have between 6 and 8 articles from directors published in The Breeze. Carol St. Hilaire does a great job on the biographies. 1 or 2 directors appear a month on this day's segments. Each month, the director appears at the new resident orientation. This month, 8 directors and our attorney appeared at the town hall on the bylaws. Village Television had 30-second spots urging residents to cast their ballots in the election. There were ads urging residents to vote. Closing date for United candidates' applications is Friday afternoon. This year, every candidate will enjoy free publicity with arranged speaking appearances. The Globe will have a United Candidates issue with candidate pictures and statements included. Village TV will make a short video of every candidate. All will be shown together in a video program which will be repeated. A one-page flyer will be made available online and in the clubhouses showing the photo and name of each candidate for United and one also for Third. And of course, the candidate statement will be published in the ballot. The televised United Meet the Candidates is...
That's coming.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, we'll be soon.
I didn't bring my election calendar,
Thank you.
sorry.
There will be 2 other Meet the Candidates presented by clubs. One is August 21st at Clubhouse 3, 4 o'clock. One is August 24th, Clubhouse 7 at 4 o'clock. All candidates will be invited and are welcome. Some United directors have indicated their preferences for candidate qualifications. They have said, background experience in working with others, knowledgeable about co-ops and HOAs, good attitude and positive personality, concern for repairing United's infrastructure, some newer and younger ideas, has attended or watched United board meetings or committee meetings, has valuable experience like accounting, engineering, communicating, has energy for the job, is a team player. If you have some of these qualities, United could use your help. Apply, get and turn in your application by Friday. Friday. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Maggie. All right, next is the,
I have your answer if you want.
okay,
United's is August 29th at 10 o'clock, and it's live.
Right.
right, it's TV.
Here.
August 29th at 10 a.m.
Right. Okay, thank you. All right, 12G is a report from the Governing Documents Committee. First and foremost, I would like to thank the members and former members of the Governing Documents Committee for all the work that they did for the last year on the bylaws. And so it was quite a project in conjunction with our attorney. Some of the things that are being worked on now, up for discussion, no, nothing has been brought forward, but is up for discussion in the Governing Docs Committee, is the potential of eliminating guarantors. We were informed that Seal Beach does not have guarantors. And we have postponed a decision on this item until after the new board members are elected in September so that they have a say in this as well. We are also looking at the difference between a minimum 1- and 2-person household income level. For those of you that don't know, the income levels that we require on our financials are poverty level. They are considered very low. The Register this last week said that the average salary for 2 people in Orange County is $84,450 is the income. And the average income for 1 person is $58,450 a year. I'm sure you all know that does not apply to many of the people in the village.
We're not working.
I mean, that's not what they have at the moment. So the fixed incomes are something we're looking at, and we're also looking at whether or not we should increase the financial requirements to match those of third, and if we wanted to make any difference between whether it was 1 person, 2 person, just like as we add the extra fee if there are 3 people. Another thing that we are discussing is more requirements for sublessors. We felt it was important to include a written lease agreement, a credit report, and a credit score with any application to sublease a manor, just so that we have those controls. Those are just some of the things that we're looking at. Our next meeting is Monday, August 28th, 2017, and everybody is invited. Report of the disaster preparedness for disaster task force. Andre?
Yes, okay, I'm on. We had a meeting on July 28th and talk about training session, disaster preparedness task force training session on July 12th. There were 75 volunteers who showed up, and they were talking about attend the training session. 26 of them signed up as new Good Neighbor captains, and 25 of them from United. So it's a very good turnout, and thanks for everybody's volunteer work. Also, the current Good Neighbor captain list, we have already had 78 people on the list, and 64 of them are confirmed. The rest are still in the process of confirmation. And our next Good Neighbor captain training will be October 3rd, which is a quarter away, but the security has talking about, and the DP, Disaster Preparedness Task Force, has talked about maybe increase to once a month to increase the number at this point. Our next kickoff meeting, the biggest kickoff meeting for the Good Neighbor Captain, will be held on August 29th, 3 to 7 p.m., right after we elected our, meet the candidates of United Board. And we are encouraging all the Good Neighbor captains, United Good Neighbor captains, to join our task force meeting, which will be held on August 21st. Currently, our recruiting effort has been focusing primarily on the sports club, a mini gym, and the fitness center. The idea is anybody can run, can jump, can press bench are good candidates of this Good Neighbor Captain program. And we will get all the Good Neighbor captains more involved in activities like we mentioned again. So August 29th will be our first kickoff meeting. That's for invitation only. We will schedule our recruiting process 2 weeks before the next scheduled meeting. Currently, it's October 3rd, but we're looking forward to more training sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, last but not least, we have a report on the disciplinary cases. The total number of cases is down from 360 in June to 348 in July. However, the cases resolved is also down from 135 to 99. Compliance is overloaded. Compliance is working very hard, not just for us, but also for Third. And what we found is that abandoned vehicles, animal nuisance, illegal occupancy, and unauthorized alterations have gone down, which is wonderful, and I credit compliance with a lot of that. However, maintenance of alterations and smoking violations have increased, and we are having complaints on those things. All right, let's go to...
May I say something? Ask
Yes.
something?
Sorry, Maxine.
I'm sorry, Juanita, I liked that figure. You said something went down from 135 to 99?
Yes, that was the cases resolved this month.
The cases resolved this month? That's
Yes.
wonderful.
No. We want more cases resolved, not less.
Oh, I thought that meant there were only 99 to be resolved.
No. No,
Oh,
that's
okay.
how many were resolved.
That's the number you got done.
Okay,
Thank you.
compliance got done.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, item 15 on the agenda is GRF committee highlights. And again, I remind all of our residents that every board member serves not just on United and United committees, but on a GRF committee, or sometimes two. And so it's our input to GRF that comes out of our being on these various committees. So a report from the Community Activities Committee.
I'll do that one. Brad more or less covered all the activities of the Recreation Department and some of the things that have been discussed at the CAC meeting, except he forgot the afternoon tea on August the 16th, and that's at Clubhouse 7. Everything else was pretty much covered by Brad, and the CAC committee meeting will meet the next time. We did not have a meeting this month, September the 7th at 2 p.m., boardroom in the community center.
Thank you. Finance Committee. Yes, Andre, question?
Just a statement. Our village game is coming up, and I want to encourage all the major clubs to participate in this village game and also donate to the village game. There's a lot of activities involved, and they all need a budget to help us making it better. So if it's possible, help out the village game, volunteer, do work, and also help out the budgeting side. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Janie?
I was going to say you need to contact the Recreation Department on that.
All right, a report of the Finance Committee.
Yes, GRF will be having their final budget meeting tomorrow, and it's very important that a lot of us show up for it. One thing that I understand might very well be the circumstance is that if GRF are capable of bringing the cost down, that they're passing on to the mutuals, that it's very important that the mutuals use this money for their reserves and nothing else. They don't reduce the assessments or anything else, but they use it for the reserves. It's very important. A couple of years ago, we didn't do that, and GRF have been on our case ever since. So very important that probably everybody attends the meeting, or as many that can attend it, do attend it, and keep this in mind, that we need to use any funds that GRF reduce to the mutuals, to us, and we use those funds to increase our reserves. Thank you.
It will be televised. All of these, and budget meetings are televised now. All right, the Landscape Committee, Maggie?
Okay. The Landscape Committee met July 20th. John Parker, President of GRF, is the Landscape Committee Chair. GRF has budgeted $138,000 in the capital plan for 2018 to explore adding golf netting and reopening the annex at Garden Center 1. And of course, the golf netting is to protect them from errant golf balls. One issue discussed was the funding of Aliso Creek repair. GRF has allocated $110,000 for creek mitigation and improvement, which includes $30,000 for the bridge. Arbor Pro has established the value of our urban forest as $110 million, which does not include the golf course. This is significantly higher than the city of San Francisco, which has far more trees. This is due to the community's efforts over the years to properly maintain and preserve the trees. Landscape committees consider carefully every tree removal. We consider them very seriously and follow an evaluation process which limits specific instances when a tree can be removed. Because in some instances our trees are counted as a whole unit in the input in Arbor Pro, recoding for the trees did not designate whether they belong to United or Third. For easier budgeting and mutual purposes, the trees are currently being categorized for United, Third, and GRF and is almost completed. Our tree staff are becoming familiar with the software and tablets for the Arbor Pro system, and we look forward to smooth sailing this fall. Thank you. Our next meeting is in September 21st.
Okay, thank you. Report of the Maintenance Construction Committee?
Yeah, as I mentioned last month, we have over 50 projects on M&C and with GRF. And I'd like to update you on a couple of them, different ones each month. This time, I would like to let you know that the lawn bowling project is being, I'm thinking of a word I could use. It hadn't started yet, but we're hiring a specialist to determine how bad the soil is. It moves a lot on the subsoil, and that's going to be checked first and do it correctly. We had it done a few years ago, and it was done incorrectly and cost us a lot of money. This time it's being done by a specialist, and after the subsoil is fixed, they'll put the remaining topsoil on, and then we'll be back in action, hopefully. It's been a long, long project, but we're almost to the conclusion of it. And the second project, it's not that expensive, and it's not clear in my mind completely what they're doing, but we're going to try to save some air conditioning from escaping and out in the hallways there by hanging some curtains. Is that correct, Lauren? And hopefully we can save about 60 to 80% of the air that we're losing. That's all.
I might point out it's an air cushion.
Air curtain.
Air curtain.
It's
yes.
not a curtain like this.
I think it's
that
a
goes
fan
down.
or something.
I have no idea what they
I don't
look
know.
like, but it will be
Yeah.
interesting.
You probably experience them when you've gone from stores and things,
And
and
they
you
blow.
walk in the door and there's like a breeze. That's the air curtain that
Right.
keeps it
Some areas
there.
you use it to keep
Jack?
flies out. Some areas
Okay.
you use it to
Yeah.
keep flies
You know, one of the things we should all keep our eyes on is a project that's underway, is the Performing Arts Center remodel. That's going to be a lot of money spent if we go the way it's being proposed. And it's got to be handled, sort of being handled as a separate committee thing. But anyway, I think all of you that can should really watch this project as it develops, because it could get out of hand.
Thank you. All right, the Media Communication Committee?
GRF Media and Communications Report. Our next meeting is Monday, August 21st, 1:30, right here. New to the village this year are The Breeze, a communication from the village boards, which comes out by email and in clubhouses the second week of every month. Village Life, which contains information on recreation, arts, and entertainment. It lists all clubhouse activities and hours, community events, recreation programs, and the buses. The Village Life is sponsored by advertisers who put in ads and sometimes coupons for residents to consider. A village television schedule is mailed out monthly to residents, giving dates and times of programs. We have more news and more notices on village television or TV6 or VTV, whatever. More new information is provided in the new resident orientation package. Yeah, there we go. In the new resident orientation packages, we have several new sheets of information in there. Full board meetings, town halls, and this day segments are found on Laguna Woods Village YouTube. On Village Television, the Thrive Show is a happy visit with members of the community engaged in an activity or sport. Come to the Technology Town Hall August 17th at 4:30 right here, where Chuck Holland and Paula Ortiz will explain and show the many new developments here and coming to the village soon. It will be televised live and replayed. Every mutual candidate, see united. Thank you.
Thank you. Report from Mobility and Vehicles Committee?
I attended August 2nd, the Mobility and the Vehicle Committee. Here's my report. Basically, we discussed the monthly transportation report, which has a lot of data and revealed a lot of facts with vehicle operations, about the cost, about operation expenses, and a lot of informations are hidden in there. So the staff has promised to provide more information on the based on these raw data and maybe provide dashboard information. And we also talk about easy riding marketing and advertising update. There's a lot of a lot of effort by the staff to negotiate coupons with neighborhood stores, restaurants, and shops. So if you take the bus out to the neighborhood places, that you will get those coupons and save you some money. And we also have excursions to different places. These are short trips to neighborhood places, primarily for the people without driver license. So we want to make sure that you enjoy these trips. And of course, if you use it, we will provide more. If you don't use it, we'll probably just cut it. So it depends on how the response is. So far, the response has been really good. And alternate transportation options for mobility repaired patrons, we are looking at the smaller buses that will provide more nimble service and more on-demand service. So these are in discussion at this point. We are doing some test pilot driving and see whether it will satisfy our residents' needs or not. Thank you very much.
Okay. Last but certainly not least, a report from Security and Community Access Committee. Cash?
Last month, I kept my extended family away because of my immediate family. So I was on vacation. But I would like to report that Tim Moy and his team are doing excellent job in security. And they're using the new gate system to control some of the riffraff that used to come in, and they're tracking that. Also, our next meeting will be on August 24th, 1:30 here in the boardroom. And I will definitely attend it because I'm back on my job for the extended family. Thank you.
Cash. Okay. Item 16, on future agenda items, I'd just like to mention to everybody out there that these are the things that we are going to be covering in September. They're all on 30-day member notice, so if you have input on any of these, please let us know. We are going to entertain a motion to approve implementing fees for the maintenance appointments. We did the first reading today. A motion to approve standard manner alteration conditions. A motion to approve amendments to the administrative guidelines for financial qualifications. A motion to approve resolution regarding use of common area for certain improvements, for instance, air conditioners, condensers, those kinds of things, water heaters that are outside the manor in a common area. And a motion to approve a resolution to remove standard specifications for atrium enclosures between common walls. Some of our units do have a common wall between the atriums, and if one side decides to do alterations, it directly affects what's on the other side of that common wall. So we felt we needed some standards. A motion to approve the hot tub policy. That's gone through maintenance and construction. And a motion to increase the assessment late fee. Right now, we have a $20 late fee if you do not pay your assessment. And just looking at, number one, what other, like Third does in the community, trying to make it equitable, and what kind of staff time, et cetera, it takes to do this. So we will be looking at that. And a motion to suspend cable or internet service in the event of a disciplinary action. That goes through GRF, but we need to have our motion to send it to GRF and ask for that. So basically, if you don't pay your assessments, not only can you be assessed interest and a late fee, but you can have your TV and internet cut off unless you pay. I'd like to call for director comments now. Let's start over here, Maxine. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Pat.
Before you do that, I thought we had already had a motion to suspend the cable in the event of disciplinary action, no? Didn't we already do it?
We did, but it needs to be amended to go along with the GRF requirements. They just have changed their requirements. It used to be people had two hearings. We'd have a hearing and we'd ask them to sit, and then they had to go to another hearing at GRF. So all we're trying to do is make sure that it's the same.
Okay,
So it's
thank
just
you.
really an amendment to it. Okay, Maxine?
Yes, I just want to remind all our residents that our clubhouses, this building, everything around here belongs to all of us. And if you don't have air conditioning in your manor, please come to one of the clubhouses or the community center, which are nice and cool, don't suffer in the heat. And nearly every clubhouse has something going on to which you can be invited. Most of the clubs invite other people to come to their meetings. You might enjoy seeing what's going on at Clubhouse 4 in the different arts and crafts rooms and so forth. But you don't need to stay home and suffer. Please come enjoy the cool air in some of these buildings that you also indirectly own.
And I'd put in a bid for the library, too. We have a wonderful reading room, and it's air-conditioned.
That's right. The library is the best.
Cash?
Well, we have an excellent community here, one of the best in the world. And I want to say that I want to serve you guys again, and let me take this opportunity to tell you that I'm going to be again standing for elections next 3 years, for next 3 years. Thank you. I need your vote.
All right, Maggie?
Equal time? No. Like to thank everybody that voted for the governing documents, for the bylaws. You won't notice any difference, but it will be smoother and easier. The process by which, if you have a dispute with United and so on, that mediation process is clarified and so on. So that was a good thing. I'm very happy for it. Once again, if you are considering running for United, you have 2 days. I'm going to say 2 days. It's due Friday, so come in today or tomorrow to pick up your package and turn it in by Friday. Thank you.
Janie?
I just wanted to thank everybody also for voting either for or against the bylaws. Thank you mainly if you voted for, but thank you for voting.
Thank you. Don?
I have nothing.
No comment? Pat?
Yes, I'd just like to say to all the directors and all the other people out there that it's very important that we build up our reserve funds so that we can get our infrastructure fixed. And by transferring money from contingency to the reserves, it will not cost anybody a dime, but I'm just giving a plug for something that I believe is very important. We must be very financially, physically conservative. Thank you.
Jack? I have nothing. Okay. Gary?
I just returned last night from a 3-week vacation with mothers and mother-in-laws. And when I got back, I got down and kissed the ground, and you all look younger than when I left.
Steve?
There's been quite a bit of talk recently about the internet access speeds, so I thought I'd take just a moment to address that. Chuck Holland and his department are working on the final implementation of the new lasers, and they had hoped to have that fully operational by the end of July. But what they discovered was, as they turned on the new lasers, it caused quite a load. So they're having to go through each one of the new lasers upon installation. So hopefully that's going to be coming to a conclusion soon. But I've heard a lot of talk about that, so I just wanted to mention that. Also, for people who still have some complaints about the tiling on their televisions when they're watching, the new Intelsat satellite dish is being installed now behind the broadband building, and that's going to go on for a little while longer, so you should see some improvement in that as well coming soon, hopefully. And finally, I just wanted to wish everyone a happy International Cat Day and also a happy National Zucchini Day.
Thank you, Steve. Andre?
This community depends on each other, and we want everybody to be active and get involved. So I'm advocating the Good Neighbor Captain program. Everybody, please sign up the Good Neighbor Captain program. A lot of people have told me and say, you know, what do you want me to do? I say, just during a big disaster, just knock on the neighbor's door. You know, those people that might be getting hurt might get hurt. So just make sure everybody's safe and sound. And people say, I'm already doing that. Why do I need to sign it up? Yes, if you're already doing that, that's great. But we need to follow the same standard procedure. You knock on the door, then you go get help. Where do you get help? There's a standard procedure to established to get help from there. So after you sit on the sofa watching this TV, get up and sign up Good Neighbor Captain program, and we need everybody's help. Get everybody involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can't believe it. We are finishing our meeting before noon. 2 minutes, but still before noon. And I do want to emphasize what we keep saying over and over again. If you see something, say something. We depend on all of you, our residents out there, to keep us informed of what's going on in your neighborhood, your cul-de-sac. We are so large, we can't have everybody there all the time. And so it's up to you to let us know what's going on in your specific cul-de-sacs, particularly if there's a problem. And with that, I recess this meeting to the closed session.
I didn't hear the gavel.
It was very